12:30 మీడియా మిత్రులకు అందరికి నమస్కారం. ఈరోజు భారతీయ జనతా పార్టీ రాష్ట్ర కార్యాలయంలో రాష్ట్ర అధ్యక్షులు గౌరవనీయులు పెద్దలు శ్రీ ఎన్ రామచంద్రరావు గారు ఈ యొక్క పత్రికా సంస్థలో పాల్గొంటారు. జాతీయ అధికార ప్రతినిధి అలాగే రాజ్యసభ మాజీ సభ్యులు డాక్టర్ సయ్యద్ జాఫర్ ఇస్లాం గారు ఈ యొక్క సమావేశంలో మాట్లాడతారు. మనందరికీ తెలిసిన విషయమే, ఇంతకుముందు అసెంబ్లీ ఎన్నికల్లో 2023లో మీడియా విభాగం హైదరాబాద్ మరియు వరంగల్లో డాక్టర్ జాఫర్ ఇస్లాం గారు అనేకమైన సేవలు అందించడం జరిగింది. మరి కేంద్ర పార్టీ మరి ప్రత్యేకంగా ఈ యొక్క హైదరాబాద్లో కానివ్వండి అలాగే వరంగల్లో మరి ఈ యొక్క సమావేశాన్ని నిర్వహించాలని చెప్పి ఇక్కడికి రావడం జరిగింది. వారికి స్వాగతం పలుకుతూ అలాగే ఇంకొక జాతీయ అధికార ప్రతినిధి మరియు నేషనల్ సెక్రటరీ శ్రీ అనిల్ యాంటోనీ గారు, వారు నేషనల్ స్పోక్స్ పర్సనే కాక నేషనల్ కో కన్వీనర్ వన్ నేషన్ వన్ ఎలక్షన్గా అలాగే నాగాల్యాండ్ మరియు మేఘాలయకు ప్రభారిగా అనేకమైన సేవలు అందిస్తూ ఈరోజు భారతీయ జనతా పార్టీ రాష్ట్ర కార్యాలయంలో హైదరాబాద్లో వారు కూడా ఈ యొక్క పత్రికా సమావేశంలో మాట్లాడతారు. వేదికపై రాష్ట్ర ఉపాధ్యక్షులు శ్రీ శాంతి కుమార్ గారు, రాష్ట్ర మరి సెక్రటరీ అయిన మిత్రుడు శ్రీ మైపాల్ రెడ్డి గారు, అలాగే శ్రీ దిలీప్ ఆచార్య గారు ఈ యొక్క సమావేశంలో మరి పాల్గొంటారు. ముందుగా డాక్టర్ శ్రీ జాఫర్ ఇస్లాం గారిని మాట్లాడాల్సిందిగా కోరుతున్నాం. ఆ తర్వాత అనిల్ యాంటోనీ గారు మాట్లాడతారు. ముందుగా రాష్ట్ర అధ్యక్షులు శ్రీ రామచంద్రరావు గారు డాక్టర్ సయ్యద్ ఇస్లాం గారికి అలాగే అనిల్ యాంటోనీ గారికి శాల్వతో సత్కరించి వారిని భారతీయ జనతా పార్టీ రాష్ట్ర కార్యాలయంలో ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నారు.
धन्यवाद सुभाष जी। आप सभी लोगों का आज इस प्रेस वार्ता में स्वागत है। आप सब लोगों को मालूम होगा कि 3 सितंबर को एक बहुत ऐतिहासिक फैसला जीएसटी काउंसिल ने लिया है। उसके लिए पूरे तौर से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी जिम्मेदार हैं, जिन्होंने 15 अगस्त को रेड फोर्ट से ही बोला था कि कुछ ऐतिहासिक कदम उठाने वाले हैं और जीएसटी को रैशनलाइज करने वाले हैं। ये इतना बड़ा फैसला है कि अगर मैं ये कहूं कि इस फैसला जो इस बार का जीएसटी 2 रिफॉर्म्स है, वन स्ट्रोक ऑफ पेन द ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर has achieved many objectives, be it economy, be it ensuring the better livelihood for the common man on the street, or achieving self-reliant, or giving momentum to economy, boost to economy. So all these things have been achieved by rationalizing GST rates. और मैं कह सकता हूं कि इस जीएसटी रिफॉर्म, जिसको जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स 2 बोला जाता है, अगर 1991 का जो इकोनॉमिक लिबरलाइजेशन के वक्त जो इनिशिएटिव लिया गया था, शायद उससे भी बड़ा इंपैक्ट ये जीएसटी 2 रिफॉर्म्स लेके आने वाला है। और इसे ऐतिहासिक फैसले जब लिया, उसके बारे में आज मैं आपके सामने चर्चा करने वाला हूं। देखिए, बहुत सारे लोगों ने कई बारे जीएसटी के बारे में अलग अलग तरीके से बात किया, लेकिन मैं थोड़ा आपको इतिहास में ले जाना चाहता हूं. आई वांट टू डू ए बैक टेस्टिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली एंड व्हेन इट वाज प्रपोज. वी नो दैट ड्यूरिंग यूपीए टाइम we have multiple rates in the states, we have multiple rates in center, be it VAT, be it Senvat, be it Octroi, be it the central taxes, all indirect taxes, उनको साथ करके एक टैक्स बनाया गया जीएसटी, ताकि जो स्टेट्स में जो इनएफिशिएंसी थी, जो सेंटर में इनएफिशिएंसी थी, उसको खत्म करके एक यूनिफाइड जो है टैक्स रिजीम को लेकर आया जाए. वो कांग्रेस पार्टी जो है उसके बारे में बहुत ज्यादा जो है उसके फेवर में नहीं थी. इसलिए जब आदरणीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी ने जब इसको प्रपोज किया था पहली बार 2002 में, लेकिन ये एक्चुअली इंप्लीमेंट हुआ 2017 में, जब आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इनको पूरे देश को एक साथ इतने डिलिब्रेशंस के बाद कंसेंसस पर लेके आया और एक कंसेंसस के साथ ये ऐतिहासिक फैसला जो लिया गया था. 8 साल जो 2017 में जीएसटी 1 जब इंप्लीमेंट हुआ, उसके बाद 8 सालों में हमने देखा कि जिस तरह से देश की उन्नति हुई, देश में प्रगति हुई, और जीएसटी जो है एक यूनिफाइड जो है देश में वन नेशन वन टैक्स जो है उसको हमने बहुत आसानी से इंप्लीमेंट करने की कोशिश की और किया भी. जाहिर है इसमें जो पहली बार जब ये सिस्टम जो है अगर जीएसटी को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है, कुछ ना कुछ उसमें लूप होल्स हो सकते हैं, कुछ ना कुछ कमियां हो सकती हैं, और इसके 8 साल में हमने उसका पूरा देखने के बाद जो 65 लाख जो इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स के जो देने वाले लोग थे उसकी संख्या जो है 65 लाख से बढ़ के 1.51 करोड़ हो गया. तो टैक्स नेट बढ़ा हमारा, जीएसटी जो इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स का नेट बढ़ा. साथ साथ जो 7 लाख करोड़ था वो जो कलेक्शन था वो 22 लाख करोड़ हुआ. तो दोनों चीजें देखी हमने कि टैक्स नेट भी बढ़ा, प्लस जो है टैक्स कंप्लायंस भी बढ़ा, प्लस टैक्स कलेक्शन भी बढ़ा. अब ऐसी स्थिति में आ गए जब 2 लाख करोड़ का जो है टैक्स कलेक्शन हर महीने होने लगा, तो इससे समझ में आता था कि आज आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि इससे देश की जनता को फायदा होना चाहिए. इसलिए देश की जनता को सेंट्रल स्टेज पर रख के उन्होंने इस ऐतिहासिक फैसले को लिया, जिससे आप देखेंगे देश की जनता को फायदा होगा. जो हमारे इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज है उसमें और एनर्जी मिलेगी, और जो बिजनेस है उसको और स्ट्रेंथ मिलेगा कि और बेहतर परफॉर्म करे. कैसे किया उन्होंने? जैसे पहली बात जो उन्होंने जो सिंप्लीफाई किया टैक्स रेट को, पहले 4 टैक्स रेट था, 5%, 12%, 18% और 28%. उसको सिंप्लीफाई करके सिर्फ 2 टैक्स रेट किया, 2 जीएसटी रेट किया. जो जीएसटी रेट इसलिए किया कि अब तक जो है बिजनेस कम्युनिटी को बहुत सारे अनसर्टेनिटी लगती थी, और खासकर एक आम नागरिक को जो एसेंशियल्स खरीदता था उस पर भी टैक्स था. तो हम लोग आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो एसेंशियल्स आइटम है, चाहे दूध हो, पनीर हो, घी हो, दही हो, इन सबको घटा के 0% कर दिया. उसके बाद से ये सब बिल्कुल आम दिनों में खाने वाली चीजों को 0% कर दिया, उसमें कोई टैक्स नहीं. इसलिए कि आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री चाहते हैं कि आपकी थैली भी भरे और आपका वॉलेट भी भरे, और आपका जो खाने का जो है जो प्लेट पे और ज्यादा खाना भी बढ़े, और आपके वॉलेट में पैसा भी बने. तो इसलिए उन्होंने 0% किया. साथ साथ जो एसेंशियल आइटम्स है जैसे राइस हुआ, पल्सेस हुए, उनका रेट घटा के जो है वो 12%, 18% से लाके जो है वो 5% पे किया. कुछ चीजों का जो रेट जो है वो 28%, तो जो मिडिल क्लास इस्तेमाल करती है उसका 28% है. जैसे एयर कंडीशन हुआ या एस्पिरेशनल कार हुआ, जैसे लोग कार लेना चाहते हैं, या आपको इस तरह की चीजें जैसे टीवी हुआ, इस तरह की चीज मिडिल क्लास इस्तेमाल करते हैं, उस पर 28% टैक्स होया करता था. उसको रिड्यूस करके मिडिल क्लास का ध्यान रखते हुए, हमने मध्यम वर्ग का ध्यान रखते हुए, वी हैव रिड्यूस इट फ्रॉम 28% to 18%. So if you see from 28%, 99% items have been reduced to either 18% or even 5%. And from 12%, 90% items have been reduced from 12% to 5% or 0%. I mean, that is the massive decision which has been undertaken by the Honorable Prime Minister through the GST Council, because all the finance minister of the BJP ruled states supported this initiative of the Honorable Prime Minister, that we need to provide support to common man, the common citizen of the country. They need to have more dispensable income so that they spend more and they have a better quality of living, and ease of living was the primary objective of the Honorable Prime Minister, that ease of living, so that they have, the common man, if they have more disposable income, they have better disposable income and availability of stuff which they want to, they consume on a daily basis, should be available at a better rate. I'm sure that everybody will be the beneficiary. So this decision is not only helping the poor man, it is also touching the life of every single citizen of the country, this GST reforms. That is why I said these reforms can have much better impact compared to what we had in 1991 during an economic liberalization. Second thing, when we have taken decision, we also had MSME, middle class, where the middle class are employed. MSME was the one who was struggling with GST, multiple rates. The ambiguity there was in multiple rates. Also, they were struggling because the compliance was a big issue, and then blockade of capital, the refund was a big issue with MSME. What the Honorable Prime Minister, through GST Council, with all the finance ministers who are representative of the GST Council, made sure that the 90% refund should be given to MSME, so they don't have cash flow issues. The blockade of capital, working capital, should be made available to them, so their business should not stop. And the compliance have been made so easy that even digitally that compliance can be submitted, and they can comply with that. So MSME sector is extremely happy because they know that the issues which they were struggling with was cash flows, issues they were struggling for the refund, issues they were struggling with working capital, and the compliance, all at one stroke of pen have been addressed in this. And then I'm sure that that's why I said it will strengthen business. It will allow them to spend more, make more investment, and employ more. The more people will consume, the more people will, because ours is a consumption-led economy. 57% contribution in GDP is from the consumption. So the more people will consume, it's a virtuous cycle. The more consumption will be there, the more investment will be there, the more demand will be there, the more investment will take place, and obviously the more job employment will be there for both blue collar and white collar job. तो हमने इस पूरे जीएसटी रिफॉर्म से इकोनॉमी को बूस्ट किया है, और साथ साथ हमने जनता के लिए हमने जो सौगात लेकर आए कि हम कह सकते हैं कि इस बार का दिवाली सबसे बड़ा दिवाली, धमाकेदार 5 डिकेड में का बेस्ट दिवाली होगा। और साथ साथ जो जॉब एम्प्लॉयमेंट के साथ साथ एक बहुत अच्छी चीज है कि सेल्फ रिलायंट, जो हमने कोशिश की है कि देयर इज अ स्ट्रांग voice coming from everywhere, and we are extremely vocal about it, that we need to use locally produced, indigenously produced item. And that is something which will help further boosting our economies, that will help further strengthen our businesses. So हमारा फोकस है कि सेल्फ रिलायंट बनना है, जितना कम इंपोर्ट करें, जितना ज्यादा अपना कंज्यूम करें। और एक्सपोर्ट में भी आप देखिए, जो हमको बहुत बार जो चर्चा में आजकल आप देख रहे होंगे कि अमेरिका का टैरिफ लगेगा तो हमारी इकोनॉमी बहुत परेशान हो जाएगी, लेकिन मैं आपको छोटे से एग्जांपल देके देखता हूं कि देखिए जो फारसाइटेडनेस है आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का। फर्स्ट उन्होंने इनकम टैक्स में कट किया, उसके बाद आरबीआई ने 100 बेसिस पॉइंट का रेट कट किया, उसके बाद अभी जीएसटी कट किया, और अगर सबको साथ मिला दें तो 110 बेसिस पॉइंट का स्टिमुलस इकोनॉमी मिला। अगर अमेरिका का टैरिफ आया जो आ गया है, अगर ऐसे ही रहता है तो हमें 45 से 55 बेसिस पॉइंट का हमारे जीडीपी में ग्रोथ में इंपैक्ट करेगा। लेकिन स्टिमुलस 110 बेसिस पॉइंट का तो डेफिनेटली ऑफसेट करेगा। इस क्वार्टर में भी देखिए, एज अगेंस्ट द स्ट्रीट एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ 6.5%, द जीडीपी ग्रोथ फॉर द लास्ट क्वार्टर वाज 7.8%. दैट ओनली सजेस्ट देयर इज लॉट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज एंड ऑल द स्टैटिस्टिक्स इफ यू सी, जो हाई फ्रीक्वेंसी डेटा इफ यू सी, दैट यू विल सी दैट because of GST rationalization and otherwise also there's a lot of economic activities in the country. Export is also increasing. The forex reserves has improved significantly, almost at all-time high. And overall economic condition, the macro stability is very much for everyone to see. The Honorable Prime Minister, this decision will not only boost the economy, but it will also have far-reaching impact on Indian economy. For instance, the most important thing for all of us to remember or notice that agencies like rating agency S&P have upgraded India. Why? There is a tariff issue hanging on our head. Still they have upgraded it. Because the resilience in our economy, what we have built in the last 11 years, is something for everyone to see. Despite all this, all the noise globally, they have upgraded India. S&P. From stable, they have upgraded by one notch. That suggests the strength, the resilience Indian economy has, and it is primarily because of the various structural reforms we have undertaken since 11 years and policy reforms, policy initiative we have taken in last 11 years. And this is, GST is one of them, which is a path-breaking initiative, historic from all possible angle, which has been undertaken on 3rd of September, and it will be implemented from 22nd of September, and it will have far-reaching impact. It will give a better life to a common man, ease of living, the focus of the Prime Minister. It will boost the economy, more consumption will be there, business will get strengthened, and it will also achieve the overall focus on, the people will get focused on self-reliant, and that is something which is important for us as a country, and we are moving towards that. So I think I will stop here and I will let my colleague Anil Antony ji to speak further about it, and he will also touch base on one nation, one election. Thank you.
Thank you. Today I am joined in the stage by my respected colleague, senior national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Sri Zafar Islamji, the president of Telangana Bharatiya Janata Party, Sri Ramchandra Raoji, chief spokesperson Sri Subhashji, and other esteemed leaders of BJP Telangana. I first of all thank all the media fraternity for being here today. Sri Zafar Islamji has already briefed you on some of the transformative steps that the new GST reforms are bringing in this country. The last 11 years have seen unprecedented growth across India in all spectrums because of several sweeping reforms that had been brought in by our Honorable Prime Minister. We saw a 2 trillion economy, the 11th largest economy, which was once rated as a fragile 5 economy. In the last 11 years, constantly be the fastest growing global economy, which, while the entire world was struggling during the pandemic, the IMF called India a lone bright spot in a very turbulent world. And now, just a few months back, we have become a 4 trillion economy, which in the next 3 years is on its path to be the 3rd largest global economy and a 5 trillion economy. On the 15th of August, our Honorable Prime Minister in the Radford did say that now to keep moving forward our long-term trajectory of being a fully developed Viksit Bharat by 2047, there will be more transformative reforms. And then after the 56th GST Council meeting, we saw the new introduction of GST slabs, where now the already simplified GST structure that was brought in by the NDA government previously has been further simplified, with the old 4 slabs now being reduced to 2. Earlier there were 4 slabs of 28%, 18%, 12% and 5%. Now it will be 18 and 5%. Almost 99% of the goods that were there in the old 12% slab has come down. Almost 90% of the goods that were on the old 28% slab has also come down. Every single household in this country, every single household, and 140 crore Indians will be beneficiaries of this. the price of every single household appliances, every single essentials, including hair oil, including shampoo, including toothpaste, to some of the most aspirational products of our middle class, from cars to air conditioners to refrigerators. It's all coming down, the prices. To ensure that our government moves towards our vision of education for all, we are again ensuring that each of the child in this country will get educational products, learning tools where prices no longer will not be an issue. So the taxes of all educational tools, important educational tools, from blackboards to pencils to rubbers to eraser, everything is now tax-free. Healthcare sector again is having transformative changes, where now all health insurances are tax-free. Life-saving drugs are tax-free. So similarly, across spectrum, we are seeing decrease of prices. This is going to affect all the 140 crore Indians and every household in this country. And it will be applicable from the 22nd of this month, the first day of Navratri, which is our government's gift to the entire country, where we are making sure that their ease of living will be getting better because of transformative economic changes. The total size of the Indian economy is around 330 lakh crores, of which around 60% is consumption. And that is around 200 lakh plus crores. So even if our consumption increases by just 10%, this will be a total increase of around 20 lakh crores of consumption annually. This will tremendously boost our local production. It will encourage our entrepreneurs to produce more. It will boost our capacity building, and it will boost our Atmanirbhar initiatives also. So this is one of those transformative reforms that will definitely boost our country's trajectory in our long-term vision. Another transformative reform that is being introduced by the Narendra Modi ji-led government is unification of elections, synchronization of elections, which is one nation, one election. At this moment, it may seem like a novel concept, but one thing which we all need to remember is, in the first 4 election cycles in this country, from 1951 to 1967, this country had one nation, one election. Various disruptions, including the emergency in 1975 till 1977, when elections were fully suspended, and many other scenarios where the old Congress governments in the 70s and late 60s, they undemocratically dismissed many governments across India, which resulted in the election cycles across India being completely unsynchronized. In 1980 itself, the Bharatiya Janata Party, from inception, has always supported this concept, and one nation, one election was a part of the Bharatiya Janata Party's manifesto in 2024, 19 and 14. But this is not a set of reforms that is just a party reform. This is a set of reforms that is meant to transform entire India and boost our trajectory going forward. A high-level committee was created by the NDA government in 2023 that was led by a former President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovind ji. It had luminaries including current Home Minister of India, Sri Amit Shah ji, former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Sri Ghulam Nabi Azad ji, one of India's most senior-most and reputed lawyers, Sri Hari Salve ji. And finally, the 7-member committee, an independent committee, did study and did deliberations with lakhs of people across the country. It interacted with so many social groups and stakeholders of Indian society. And finally, a 900-page report was submitted to the Honorable President of India in 2023. In that report, it categorically says that this set of reforms can transform India. And one of the most important aspects again is economic transformation, where the report does say that if implemented properly, the set of reforms can increase our GDP by almost 1.5 to 2% annually, which comes to around 4.5 to 5 lakh crores, around 50% of our current healthcare expenditure, 33% of our current education expenditure. And this is going to be a recurring gain for years to come. There will be similar transformation in many other sectors, including government efficiency, including democratic participation, where one thing which is very common in most of the countries where elections are synchronized is that there is very heavy, high voters' participation. There will be increased administrative efficiency. And finally, one nation, one election again will be a set of sweeping reforms, just like the GST reforms that you just saw now, that can boost our economic trajectory, that will ensure that in the next 2-3 years we will become a 5 trillion third largest economy. And it will ensure that in the next 20 years, our country will be fully transformed into a fully developed Viksit Bharat, a developed India, that will be a very prominent pole in a multipolar world for years to come. All these are various initiatives of our Honorable Prime Minister to ensure that our country's 140 crore citizens grow where our government has a development mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, where 140 crore Indians go forward to a destination of fully developed India. And the GST reforms are one of those accelerators. One nation, one election will be another of those accelerators. And there will be many other sweeping reforms to come, which will ensure that the life of our citizens improve and they will get more avenues of social and economic mobility. I thank you all for your attention. Jai Hind.
देखिए अभी इंटरिम ऑर्डर आया है और इसमें बहुत जो बिल्कुल साफ कर दिया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कि ये कानून जो है रिफॉर्म्स चाहिए था और ये कानून उसकी जरूरत थी और ये इंटरिम ऑर्डर में उस चीज को सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बहुत वाज़ेह तौर से कह भी दिया है। I think I will let my honorable party president, state president, to respond to this.
No, the government has nothing to do with the CBI. CBI will take its own call. It is their prerogative to take whatever cases they want. Perhaps the government has written a letter, this is true, and we wanted that to happen actually. So I think appropriate measures will be taken administratively, which has no political interference.
Thank you.
The Congress party in the last 11 years has now made it very normal to criticize whatever the government is doing, despite the government having full trust of our people. When one of India's most successful military operations ever happened, Operation Sindoor, where almost 100 plus terrorists, including a few high-value terrorists, were eliminated, when 12 army Pakistani air bases were destroyed, the Congress party had a problem with that also. They were criticizing that also. At this moment, the Honorable Prime Minister visited Manipur. There are a lot of efforts that are being done in the Northeast and Manipur to bring stability. Right now there is President's rule there. Violence in Manipur has completely ended. Now the Honorable Prime Minister went there and he announced almost 10,000 crores of new developmental projects in the state of Manipur. Efforts are now being done to ensure that the different communities are going to live in peace for a sustained period of time. At this point of time, it is very disappointing that instead of seeing all the positivities, instead of seeing all the tremendous boost that has happened in India's northeast region, where in the last 11 years almost 5 lakh crores have been spent in the northeast region to increase connectivity, increase infrastructure, increase different other capacity, where right now India's northeast and region is growing at a higher rate than rest of India. And instead of seeing all that, it is very disappointing that the Congress party and Priyanka Gandhi is resorting to these kind of politics, where now it is criticism just for the sake of criticism.
Thank you. Thank you. రేపు 17 సెప్టెంబరు అందరినీ కోరుతాను అక్కడ రావాల్సిందిగా.